This right here is the Camera Sling V1 from Clever Supply Co. One of my favorite camera bags that I've used in the past few years. It's been stolen from me. I've taken it to multiple countries on tons of different trips. And generally it's been, yeah, pretty much my favorite everyday kind of camera bag. It is now been upgraded to the V2. So let's take a look at this thing, kind of see what improvements they've made and whether it's worth picking this one up. Now, this video isn't sponsored, but they did send me this bag over to keep. Todd and I have been friends for a long time, so I'm mostly just doing this to kind of support their channel. I do believe that there is an affiliate link that I'll put down in the description that'll give me a few dollars if you do decide to purchase this bag. But it legitimately is one of my favorite bags and is something that even if I wasn't friends with them, I would continue to use. I don't just use products when I'm out doing things that are unpaid and unsponsored just for the heck of it. I actually legitimately really love that bag and am legitimately excited for a lot of the improvements that they've made to this one. So let's get into it. Now, generally the shape of the bag is really similar to the first one. Obviously the coloring and things like that are as well. I would say right off the bat, the only real use case that I have in these bags that I will no longer be able to use is that of using the rear compartment as an iPad sleeve. So in the V1, there was kind of a back little panel here, back little space that it wasn't perfect, but I could stick my iPad Pro in the back here. I think my 10-inch iPad Pro, whatever size the smaller one is. I couldn't actually add the pencil there. So it was really only sometimes when I would be like flying or every once in a while I was at an event or something like that and I needed to have an iPad with me. It was nice to be able to have that. This now does not have that capabilities because they've moved the pouch in the rear to the exterior of the bag. So definitely not a deal breaker by any means, but it was one of the tiny little use cases that I will not be able to do out of this. Now, one of the things I will say that I never used actually, and I will absolutely use in the new bag though, is this little front section here on the original bag. I've never stuck anything in there because it's just such a weird space, and like the gapping here between the top and then that, it just like never was convenient. The new version is much improved. We have this massive, I mean, relatively massive, but huge extra section here. Obviously folds out really well. You can stick batteries, memory cards, filters, all sorts of stuff in here that's going to be really useful. It completely adds a new section of this bag to add more accessories. I'm always bringing small battery chargers, film, memory cards, batteries, things like that. All of those are going to work really well in this space. Before, I was using a couple of side pockets that are on the interior here. Those still can work. There's some space on the interior here to stick batteries and things. And I would definitely say that it's fine, but I could at times hear some of my lenses or cameras kind of clacking around against it. So I will definitely be adding batteries, film, stuff like that into this front pouch. It's not directly accessible in the same way that the main compartment is, but it's just still a quick little zipper there. So it's going to be really nice. I will add too that all of the zipper pouches are weather resistant to some degree. It's really nice that they've added those zippers to the main compartment as well as this front one. So if you're out, your film's not going to get wet, your batteries aren't going to get wet, your memory cards aren't going to get wet. And I find that this is probably my most useful thing that I think is going to come into play just on a day-to-day basis for me on this bag. Now, a lot of the interior here is going to be really similar. We have this big extra pouch is kind of where I would throw other random things and batteries and stuff as well. But the only thing that I will say is that when you're using that, it can kind of hit a little bit onto the top of things. So like right now I have my Hasselblad X2D2 in there. The side pouches, we've already kind of established that I've used those for different things as well. One of the things that they've also added, and they added it with a zipper, and now I will say I'm not getting commission for this or anything, but my original bag, famously for me at least, got stolen from me while I was in Copenhagen. And because of an AirTag that I had in the bag on the base plate of one of my cameras, I was able to track the bag down, get the bag back, get lots of things, including this Hasselblad, back from the people that stole it. And that's all because I had an AirTag on there. Now inside here, they have a little AirTag compartment that is zippered as well. It's just a really, really easy way to give you a little bit more of an insurance of sorts to know that if your bag gets stolen, at least you'll know where it is, hopefully. Really, really helpful, useful, a little fun thing that I'm sure is a direct representation of the fact that my bag got stolen, and so they've put a AirTag into there. Now, they have a really similar strap to before. They have little side handles on the side, obviously. They also have a handle on the back that also works as a pass-through if you're gonna use it with luggage. And then another spot where I might start to use this for things like filters. Oftentimes, if I'm just swapping out filters really quick, I'll just shove them on the other bag into the back, kind of where I would use the iPad or something. I'll probably still use this for that same thing if I'm just doing things really quick. Now, they're about the same size, so I don't think I'm going to be very surprised at how much stuff we can put in here. But let's load this thing out a little bit and see, kind of give you an idea of what fits in this if you aren't familiar with the original bag. This is one of the largest lenses I have. This is the Hasselblad 35 to 100 lens. That obviously fits without me even moving anything. So here we go with the X2D2 right there. And then we're probably not going to be able to fit another lens in here with this particular setup, but let's say we want to have something like the Ricoh GR4, really easy to stick something in there. Batteries, things like that would be really accessible in here. But let's say we didn't want to load out with this particular lens just because it's so tall, then we can easily take, even with the hood, the Hasselblad 907X and the 55V, stick that on one side and have even extra space for other things. And to be honest, this is much more typical of a loadout that I would actually have, because most of the time when I'm going out to photograph something, I'm going to be having a camera out with me, and it's not necessarily going to be everything just fitting into a bag. If I'm just going out locally, I'll have stuff, and worst case scenario, I could definitely stick the camera in here and not really have an issue. Now, if I was going to load out for a Leica setup, very easily be able to stick in my M6. Oh, it's just floating around in there. Could stick in my M11, stick in another lens, and we have just so much space in there. It's kind of wild. And as I'm looking at this as well, if we really wanted to, I would be shocked if this GR4 didn't fit into this here. So yeah, could even be bringing the Ricoh GR4 as well. Shows how incredibly small this little camera is. I feel like no one is ever really surprised that a Leica kit fits in there, but let's see what a typical mirrorless Sony kit looks like. So here's quite the kit. We have the A7R5 with the 50mm f1.2 G Master lens. I'm not even going to redo any of this. I also have the Viltrox 35 1.2. This thing is enormous if I'm going for kind of like a Noct Deluxe-y kind of day. And then obviously we can fit some other stuff in here, maybe another small lens. Could probably actually fit this 24 to 50 in there if we really wanted to. Yep, a little bit tighter, but that would definitely be an option. Now, a place where I often will actually use this kit combo is to bring it out with me when I'm doing some content for the channel. So here it is with the FX3. Obviously, you can very easily fit in there. Then I can stick this on the side. We have another lens if I'm doing like a lens comparison. It's kind of what I'm often doing, is kind of flip-flopping through some of that kind of stuff. But then another combo that I will often do as well is just have both kind of setups here. So put the FX3 in right here, put the A7R5 in next to it. Then we still have a tiny bit of space on the side. Just stick our microphone. Not the most ideal setup here, but if I'm out in the field in Washington State, where I currently live and have lived my entire life, knowing that it's gonna rain. The stuff all fits in there without much fuss. It's gonna be a little heavy and stuff, but if I'm out and need to get it out of the rain, it'd be a really easy move there. But to be honest, most of the time when I'm using this, I'm using it much more as just a kit that's going to be almost more of a lens pouch or something like that. A much more typical layout would be something where I'm just using this and using all three of its little sections here to bring different lenses, accessories, things like that. It's just a really great everyday bag. It's not like a massive bag where you're putting your laptop and you're using it for travel. It's much more of like a small, everyday kind of bag that you're gonna wanna bring with you on vacation or going out to shoot for a day or things like that. It's not necessarily a shove everything you have into it. It's much more of like it's easy to take around. It's easy to bring to a farmer's market. It's easy to go to the park with your kids. It's easy to bring on a plane with you. All those kind of things. Big fan of this bag. And generally, I do really appreciate all of the upgrades that they made to it, especially this big front pouch. So thanks so much for watching. Let me know if you have any questions or comments about this. I'd be more than happy to answer. And I'm sure Todd from Clever Supply Co. would probably end up being in the comments at some point and happy to answer some of your questions as well. If you want to see my video on the first version of this bag, you can do it up here. Check out my video on their camera straps up here, and I will see you in one of those.